Welcome to r/best of Redditor updates, where cops raid the wrong apartment and take OP's stuff. Our next Reddit post is from r/legal advice. My wife and I live in the upstairs unit of a duplex in Minnesota. The two units have separate house numbers and are independent, aside from a shared entryway, garage, and trash cans. We have our own keys with the front doors inside the entryway, and our own mailboxes, electric meters, etc. Earlier this week, multiple police officers and a SWAT unit executed a search warrant for the downstairs unit. The warrant was for narcotics and firearms. At 7 a.m. on the dot, the Minneapolis Police Department showed up with no sirens and blocked off the street on both sides of the house. They then forcibly broke down the shared entryway door, then the downstairs neighbor front door, and also the main door to the garage, which actually left a small dent in our car parked outside. Not major, but still. Our front door, the one to our upstairs unit, is the only exterior door that still works in the entire building, because I opened it myself when they told us to come out with our hands up. They shoved rifles in our faces, cuffed us, and put us in the back of a squad car, where we were for about 2 hours while they searched both apartments. They uncuffed us about an hour in, but we weren't allowed to leave the car. They initially told us that the warrant was for downstairs and asked us repeatedly if we lived there. We said no, we live upstairs and have no connection to the people downstairs. We literally just moved here less than 6 months ago from out of state. The most we interact with the folks downstairs is a, "Hey, how are you?" if we happen to be in the entryway together. They asked if the apartments connected at all once inside their respective front doors. They also asked my wife multiple times if she was a specific downstairs neighbor. Both my wife and that specific neighbor are black women. Then they told us the warrant was for the entire building and the garage. Eventually, they printed us a second warrant on the spot that listed our upstairs address, which we only got after the searches were over. We were also directly told by an apologetic sergeant that this had nothing to do with us and we were just caught in the crossfire. During the search of our unit, which was not as thorough as the search downstairs, they seized my wife's iPad. The only thing on this iPad is my wife's art. Nobody touches this iPad save for my wife, not even me. They left all other electronics untouched, including my own iPad and our laptops. Meanwhile, they took every single electronic device from all the folks downstairs, including their cell phones and work computers. My wife did sign a document allowing them to search the iPad. We were told it could take a month or more if she didn't, and her art is one of our revenue streams. I'm going to interrupt this story here. Don't do that. If cops ask for consent to search anything, just say no. Say no. That's all you got to do. Nope, no thank you. Give me my stuff back. I don't consent to search or seizure. We can't afford to be without it for an extended period of time. We did get a receipt. We don't own firearms and don't use or sell illicit drugs. We're law-abiding citizens with nothing to hide. The worst things in our apartment are weed, which is legal here, blunt prop swords, prescribed medication, and angry cats. All were left unharmed. No arrests were made, so I'm assuming nothing illegal was found downstairs either. The whole scene was very overwhelming and, frankly, a little terrifying, especially with guns pointed at us first thing in the morning. I'm kicking myself for not paying better attention because the situation feels off to me. I was more worried about making sure the cops didn't manhandle my wife and knew about our escape artist cat. I'm also disabled, so sitting with my hands cuffed behind me so tightly for so long was not a great experience, and I was, and currently am, in a lot of pain. Was all this on the level? Can they search both units when they're separate like this? Is it normal to print off a new warrant on the spot? Why only take her iPad and leave everything else while taking everything from downstairs? Especially when it literally has nothing to do with what's going on with the people downstairs. How can we get it back as soon as possible? Then, 9.5 months later, OP posted an update. Oh boy, where to start? If you're looking for a guide on how to get your stuff back from the police, this ain't gonna be it. Within a week of the iPad being taken, I 1. Spent over 12 collective hours at the courthouse talking to about 20 different people. 2. Had a meeting with our city council member. 3. Went viral on both Reddit and TikTok. 4. Had to take our disabled cat to the emergency room because she ate something a cop tracked in on their shoe. She's fine, by the way. 5. Called and spoke to everyone from the judge that signed the warrant to the officer who took the iPad to 3 different record offices. 6. Was told by the officer who took the iPad that since I was causing an issue, they were going to keep it longer. 7. Requested all the police report documents. Had to do this multiple times because I kept getting rejected. 8. Emailed about 15 other people. 9. Connected with Communities United Against Police Brutality. 10. Got a lawyer. 11. Filed a case with the Office of Police Conduct Review. A week after that, our downstairs neighbor decided this entire event was my fault and started a smear campaign against me online. Then they started texting me about how I was disrespectful, an animal-abusing wife-beater who uses autism as an excuse to be racist. I have no effing idea how or why or when they came to that conclusion. Anyone who knows me knows that the vibes in our household are very much not that. I mean, I am autistic, that much is true. I'm being flippant about it, but it was incredibly stressful while it was occurring. Our neighbor is a really influential person in a specific community that we're a part of, so it could have been very bad for us. Luckily, the fallout wasn't terrible. After all that, literally nothing happened. Still to this day, the police department didn't file any of their paperwork about the warrant. Nobody replied to our council member or lawyer or the nonprofit. Nothing. I did get a redacted copy of the police report from them coming to the house, but that was it. Supposedly, after our neighbors got their stuff back, I had my wife call the officer who took the iPad, figuring a new voice might be helpful, as I'm sure mine is now automatically associated with annoyance. 5 days later, the cop calls back, and y'all aren't ready for this. Apparently, the iPad was released from evidence in October, but they, quote, didn't have a way to contact my wife. You know, despite having our address, driver's license numbers, both our phone numbers, and a signed evidence receipt. They also accidentally had my wife's name badly misspelled. Again, despite everything they had with our names on it. This is also despite me, the lawyer, our CM, and the nonprofit reaching out to the police department between October and now. No, hey, your stuff is ready. No, we're done with this garbage. Nothing. Shockingly, the evidence unit went off without a hitch. iPad in hand, custom engraved Apple Pencil still there, no screen cracks. They finally gave us the case number. Amazing! Only took 10 months. We got a celebratory pizza and went home. I opened up Screen Time to discover they never even touched the thing. Whatever. I don't know too much about cop procedure, but my guess is that they realized they falsely invaded the incorrect property and cuffed the wrong people, so they scrambled for 2 hours trying to find a judge to print out a new warrant saying, oh yeah, we're totally allowed to come into this house, but that's just a guess. Our next Reddit post is from r/TrueOffMychest. I'm a 30-year-old woman, and I've been with my 34-year-old boyfriend for 2 years. We moved in together 6 months ago, and it was all good. We had an understanding that we would go 50-50 on chores and bills until we decided to have a child. Because of this, I believed we had an understanding of how we believed the partnership should work. 2 months ago, he got a slight promotion and a pay bump, which meant we adjusted our cut of the bills to reflect that. But somehow, he comes to expect me to then take up the chores at home. It started out with small things that I knew he could do, like dishes and laundry, and escalated to sitting down all weekend watching me do my half and leaving his half of the chores to accumulate. He blamed it on the stress and added workload, but we're both corporate and work at our desks regardless. I'd be more understanding if his job was more physically demanding. It got to a breaking point when I noticed mold in the pots that he was meant to clean. He just kept the lid on it so I wouldn't notice. I needed to take a day off work to catch up with all the cleaning he neglected. The last straw was when he came home without groceries, despite it being his week. Usually, when either of us is too tired to do groceries, we let the other know in advance so we can at least order food. I told him we need to add a cleaner to the bills if he's not happy doing chores anymore, because I refuse to do them if he isn't contributing fairly too. He made an excuse about not wanting a stranger in our flat. I then said we need to begin ordering grocery deliveries for the extra cost too if he can no longer be bothered, and he called me frivolous with money. So I suggested that I'd be happy to take up these responsibilities, but it would mean I'd drop my working days from 5 to 4, and I'd be expected to be compensated for the sacrifice that I'm taking on my own career so that he can focus on his responsibilities, because apparently they matter more than my own. And I would also expect to be paid an hourly rate for doing the chores at the average market salary for a housekeeper. He seemed so surprised and shocked I'd suggest that, and didn't know how to reply, despite having an answer for everything I'd said before. I started to feel like he was trying to manipulate me into a situation that was more ideal to him and less ideal to me. And if he loved me, he wouldn't be doing that. So I asked him if his friends put him up to this, because I knew they all struggled to keep girlfriends. And he said, a proper woman would be happy to look after the house. And he called me a gold digger. I was shocked because I wasn't asking for designer items, I was asking for fair compensation for my labor, especially seeing as it would dent my own career to take on all this work. So I called him a gold digger for wanting a private chef and housekeeper for free. I was admittedly angry at this point, and also told him to stop being so proud of his promotion if he was too broke to afford a chef and cleaner, and instead tries to manipulate the woman he loves to do it for free. Not really for free, because taking a day off from my salary means I'll be paying for the privilege to clean up after him out of pocket. I told him he was dragging me down when we were supposedly meant to build each other up equitably. The flat is his, so when he was ignoring me after the fight, I started packing. He told me I would see sense, but I didn't bother. I started to feel embarrassed that I didn't notice he was like this, and I wasted 2 years to build up to this letdown. As I packed my car, I said as much and told him not to contact me. I blocked him everywhere, and he's now sending our mutual friends messages and voice notes to forward to me. My friends have been mostly on my side, seeing him as a bit pitiful, and I can see that. One of the male friends we have in common mentioned that he's been watching podcasts recently about masculinity, and I have a feeling this is where he got the idea to stall my future and put me under his foot to only serve his dreams and goals. I feel angry the more I think about it. He loved those podcast guys' idea more than he loved me, and now he expects me to feel sorry that he can't afford the rent without my contribution. But I believe he still thinks I'm the gold digger for not accepting an unfair division of effort and labor. Then OP posted an update. Since then, I've slowly drifted away from our mutual friends, as no one has cut contact with him, and I just wanted friends who didn't feel like they were walking on eggshells around me. My ex started off being very apologetic in his messages to me, through our friends, but quickly became mean and blamed me for everything. He lost the flat because he could no longer afford it and moved to a studio. While he was heartbroken, his sister would look after him and clean sometimes, but even she got tired of it. He told everyone he was depressed because of me, so they all tiptoed around him. But once I started to drift off and hang out more with my hometown friends and reconnect, I heard less and less. You gotta wonder where people get these delusions from. Calling OP a gold digger when this guy can't even afford a single apartment by himself. And no shade out there to any listeners who also can't afford a single apartment by themselves. I do realize times are tough now. But if you're in that situation, you can't be calling people gold diggers, man. Our next Reddit post is from r/handwriting analysis. My teacher is docking points for my handwriting. Am I not seeing what she's seeing? And then OP just posts a picture of her handwriting, which is in another language. It's some kind of Nordic language. And her handwriting looks great. Better than mine, to be honest with you. And then the next day, OP posted an update. I'm in the equivalent of college, and I'm studying to teach children in grades 7 to 9. And my teacher kept marking down my work because of bad penmanship and just giving non-answers when I asked. To all the people agreeing that they genuinely couldn't see the issue, to be honest, neither could I. So I went to the department head and asked her because my teacher would just not give me an answer why my writing was so doo-doo. The department head talked to the teacher, and turned out there wasn't actually anything wrong. My teacher was just very adamant in her belief that because I have a neurological disability, I was somehow not fit to teach children, and that she was just trying to make me fail her class or something. I heard from other people that she was targeting, that she was apparently also telling our other teachers how we were probably cheating on our assignments using ChatGPT, and that they should be suspicious of us. I assume because I guess disabled people can't get above a C? Yeah, so she's suspended pending investigation. I was apparently not the only disabled student she was doing this to. The dean gave us an apology and said that she was mortified that this happened. I didn't get exact details what happened or what she said, but that was the gist of what she said. So yeah, she was literally just a hag. It's a real self-fulfilling prophecy when you say that this certain demographic can't get high grades, and because of that belief, you give them low grades. See? They're not getting good grades, like I said. What a tool bag. Our next Reddit post is from r/Am I the Butthole. Am I the butthole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat as a joke? I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I've been dating my boyfriend, Matt, who's 27, for almost 2 years. His family is very close, and his mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make a big deal of it, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time. And she's made passive-aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl, even though we've been together for a while, and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up, got him a gift I knew he'd love, and was honestly looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke about how I always needed to be next to Matt and said, let's see how you handle a little separation. Then she literally stood up, looked at me, and said, scooch, sweetie, motioning for me to move down a seat so that she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. I was so stunned, I just quietly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes I sat there, feeling small and humiliated, while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, actually, I think I'm gonna head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt, and I left. Matt blew up my phone later, saying I completely overreacted, embarrassed him in front of his family, and can't take a joke. His mom texted me a sorry you were so sensitive message, which just made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second-guessing everything. Then the next day, Opie posted an update. I dropped his stuff off, and he tried to have a talk with me, and he was basically saying like, oh, his mom didn't mean any harm with the joke, and telling me to chill it out, and that I'm being dramatic. I told him to go date his mom, since she's perfect, and y'all understand each other's humor. 27 years old is way too old to still be babied by mama. He needs to cut the umbilical. That was r/best of Redditor updates, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.